Welcome on into WFRV Plus Sports Night. Cameron's there with you on this Tuesday as we talk everything revolving the sports world. And after breaking down what that was in Super Bowl 60, whatever you want to call it, we're going to shift over to basketball. The football talk is, for the most part, over. I will mention that Brian Storer, the Packers assistant special teams coordinator, he has left Green Bay and now he's in Cleveland. So that is a mention of football. But let's get straight into basketball here on WFRV Plus Sports Night and talk the Green Bay men's basketball team. They dropped 4 of 5. Now they've won 2 in a row. And GB seems to be back on the up and up, in which they went on that, 5-game winning streak prior to losing 4 of 5. And that's a positive sign as we get closer to the month of March and get closer to what will be a really exciting Horizon League tournament in which Green Bay is trying to clinch a top 4 seed or top 5 seed in the Horizon League, which means they'd get the first round bye. And again, that's huge, right? That at least guarantees you one step closer to a chance to get that one bid in order to go to the NCAA tournament. But before Green Bay thinks about any of that, they have a very exciting game. I think it's tomorrow or the next day. Let me just check. I actually think it's Thursday. Yeah, I think it's Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Against Purdue Fort Wayne. And like I mentioned, a lot of excitement surrounding that game, mainly because it's on ESPN2, first nationally televised game for GB in 6 years, I'm fairly sure. And earlier today, we caught up with Doug Gottlieb and senior guard Oshkosh native Preston Reedinger about that matchup coming up, and also as we gear toward the end of the season.
Your favorite part of this journey thus far with this group?
It's a great question. Just to watch them feel what it's like to win games. To feel like, okay, we outworked them. We outprepared them. We are actually good. It's not a fluke. You know, like anybody can get a heater and win a game. But to really outwork teams and find different ways to do it. You know, different lineups, different players, different styles. But mostly just because I think some of the first couple wins were a little bit of a feeling of relief. And then some of the wins were like, you could see the look in their eyes like they didn't really know what to do at the end of these games. And then as it's gone on, there's a level of expectation that if we do what we're supposed to do, we're going to win more than we lose. But just watching that evolution of each player, but them collectively as a team, has been super rewarding.
Rudy, for you to have that moment, what did that, mean to you, knowing, hey, look, I was a walk-on at Valpo, I wanted to come back here darkest days, but to have that moment when your college career is winding down, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, it meant a lot. I mean, especially I felt like, we were going on a little skid there, or felt like that in the locker room. And just to have that moment was special to me, just to know that, we were down 5 with 20 seconds left, and to find a way, and almost felt like we got one back with RMU, and on the road, and just together, finding a way. I felt like Vuk in the first half picked me up. It was hard, can't breathe, getting up and down, but, Vuk really stepped up and helped me out. And then just Marcus hitting big shot, and then Caden in the overtime. I ultimately hit the last one, but, everyone stepped up, and it was really cool, all together.
For both of you, Doug, you talked about this team learning to win and now expecting with the work they put in to win. You're in the Horizon League, a one-bid league. How do you prepare these guys to be able to be at their very best when it matters? Because this isn't like the Big Ten or Power Conference where a lot of teams get in. You have to be at your very best for that 1 week when it matters. How do you approach the journey to get there?
You just keep getting better. You just keep getting better. Keep figuring out ways to keep working on the fundamentals of what we put in defensively, some of the fundamentals of what we want to do offensively, and just keep making progress. And I think Vuk is the perfect example of it. If you go back a couple weeks ago, wasn't really playing, couldn't figure out minutes for him. And, I know he works and works and wants a chance. And then when we found he got opportunities, he took advantage of it. When you play him a little bit too long, he can get a little squirrely and turn that ball over trying to do too much. But when he just plays, he's super talented. But I think, it's interesting. People have taken my comments about other conferences' schedules and ours. They don't understand what it's like to coach in this league. In this league, you're going to play between 2 and 7 guarantee games. You're going to lose 99% of those games. Okay, so like Oakland knows they have a 99% chance of starting with 7 losses on their schedule, no matter what, because they played like 7 byes, right? So you have to find a way to, we had to be competitive in the non-conference for people to understand that we actually are a much better team program this year, all while knowing that you need to develop guys because they're young and they're going to get better. And that there are some games in which, we weren't winning the Kansas game. We just weren't. I think I could have done a better job of making us more competitive, but I wanted to, 1, get everybody a taste of what it was like, and then 2, see what they all reacted in that environment like. But in this league at this level, the only thing you can do is keep getting better and keep attacking each game. We don't got to worry about the Horizon League tournament. That doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is Purdue-Fort Wayne. And last time I thought we showed an incredible amount of growth, not just in our defense in that game and our execution, but in the preparation for it. If you remember, we were awful against Campbell. Awful. Didn't like our attitude, didn't like our effort, didn't like our execution, and then they caught a heater and they hit everything. But there's a lot of other things I felt like mentally the guys were already on Christmas break before we were on Christmas break. So to come back, lock in, endure some pretty long film sessions, we changed the lineup, we changed what we did defensively, and we had 2 great days of prep, and then to execute that preparation. That's what it's about. And so the more we can do that, put those days together, keep getting better, the more we'll be prepared for when March happens. So I understand the question is about getting us ready for that moment, but there's nothing you can do. It's not like, it's honestly a lot like a really hard college class. If you try and cram the night before an entire semester in, you're still going to get a B or C. If you want to get an A, if you want to nail that test, you got to do the work every day. And then when the final comes, you actually don't have that much studying. You're like, okay, I got a test coming. I know all this, review all that stuff. And that's what we hope to be once we get, to March 1st after our Feb 28 game.
I know that every game is important, but how does tomorrow's Thursday's game against Purdue-Fort Wayne?
He'll go first, then I'll get to yours.
I just want your thoughts on the growth of this team as you progress towards that big moment at the end.
Yeah, to be fair, we put ourselves in a better position than we did last year, but it's the same thing. We were 4-27 going into the tournament, and you have 3 games to win to go to the big dance. And this year we're 14-12 right now, and we'll finish whatever we are, and we have 3 games to go to the big dance. So it's just the same mindset, coming in each day, getting a little better to put us in the best position to succeed come March.
I know every game is important, but you guys are on a 2-game win streak right now, and this game is now going to be nationally televised, and then you go on 3 games in a row on the road. So just kind of what's the mindset going into this game against Purdue-Fort Wayne, and how good do you guys feel?
I can't speak to how good Rudy feels. You can ask him.
I'll
But
ask both you guys.
okay, I'll just, in terms of the importance of this game, there's a bunch of layers to it. First layer to it is, let's be honest, there's perception as to what the program's like. We want to have 4,000 people in there on Thursday night because I think Rudy deserves that 4,000 people at his last two home games. But also it's because that's what's possible at Green Bay. What's possible at Green Bay is not possible at any of these other schools. Okay? Nobody cares at any of these other schools. They don't care. Okay? I think John Kaufman runs a really good program. Okay? They are really hard to guard. They recruit excellent talent. They play fast. They play a fun style. It's hard to cover. And they win about 20 games every year. But nobody goes because that's just the nature of where they stand in the hierarchy in the state of Indiana, which is a basketball state. This is a great sports state, a great sports town, but a town that legitimately cares about basketball, specifically Green Bay basketball. It just hasn't been good. So the first thing is that Thursday night is about what's possible here. It's possible here to have the best home court advantage. The women have it because they've won for 25 straight years, right? So we got to have it. So the first thing is the perception nationally and locally of what we're doing and of people getting behind it and of building something special that's a sustainable winner and that becomes the most difficult place to play in the league. That's possible here. It's not possible people don't show up, but it's definitely possible here. For our team, it's incredibly important. I thought that game down there, we're up 15-0 to start the game because we were ready to play, and they weren't ready to play. I mean, I think if you ask those guys, their team, they'd probably think it was a fluke, right? Like, these guys. Because last year we couldn't guard them at all. They were just too athletic for us. And this year they're still more athletic than us at most positions. So it's going to be a hard cover. They're a really good team. So I think for this team, it's important to show that even for us, it wasn't a fluke. Just stick to our rules, stick to what we've done, play at our pace, frustrate them with our connectivity defensively, and continue to show that we're the better team. I mean, that's really the NKU game. It was dissimilar in that we didn't get a heater down there, but we were up 13. Like we made some mistakes. We let them back into the game. We turned the ball over a bunch. NKU is more athletic than we are at just about every position. I think we're a better basketball team. We beat them twice. We got to have that same kind of mentality with Fort Wayne. Like they have a lot of talent. They're really, really good, and they're playing good basketball. But we need to prove to ourselves that the first game wasn't a fluke. And then I still think, again, to the league, that we're a real basketball team. We're a real threat to beat any team in this league. And when you beat somebody twice, I think that's the statement this night. So that's the level of importance of that game.
Do you kind of feel that same way, Rudy, too? I mean, because what is that balance like where you're like, you feel like you guys have something to prove, but also you're like, we just got to go out there and play basketball, and then that's how we get it done. So how's that balance?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like first off, not many of us have ever played on ESPN2, right? So the excitement of playing nationally, being able to show the Green Bay brand in a national setting, I think that's going to be really important to us on our home floor. Come out and hopefully punch someone in the mouth. And then, second, like there's ties to Wisconsin. My roommate from Valparaiso, Max Nelson's on the team, and he's 4-1 against me, and we're not going to make it 5-1. So Wisconsin, Keegan knows Chris. Like it's going to be a heated battle. We know them, and we got them good at their place, and then we know they're going to come in, wanting to punch us in the mouth. But we can't let that happen. So we're going to have to swing first.
Doug, to kind of go off of Dave's question a little earlier, take like incentives out of it. What kind of significance does a regular season title hold, knowing that A, it's one big league, and two, like anybody can beat anybody when you get to the tournament?
I mean, I'll just tell you the most important thing in any sport I've ever played is winning a league championship, especially when a true round robin, right? That means you're the best. You played everybody twice, and you're the best team. There's some added significance. There's two players on their team. One that I connected with his agent or whatever, and would not consider us because he thought we were a joke. And then there's another one that kind of same thing. Like two guys like literally wouldn't pick up the phone regardless of however much money. Like I know how much money he made, and he's like, you're going to have to double that because of how bad you guys were. So that's why I take special joy in our guys. The guys we had that were still here from last year are the ones that are playing really good basketball. And then the significance of the possibility of winning a league is huge, huge. I understand. I mean, the reality is if Wright State wins the league outright, they should go to the NCAA tournament. I strongly believe that. I think that if we're honest, in true double round robin leagues, which we will not be next year, the regular season champion should go, and then whoever wins the tournament should go to another NIT or Vegas or whatever they're doing now, or not do anything, just celebrate or whatever. I know that's not the way it works, and that's a different discussion for when we get to the tournament. But that's how I view our league. It's incredibly important because you get a legit shot at everybody twice. And then we have to show maturity, right? Like it's just as hard and sometimes harder to deal with success as it is with adversity. And I don't know if you guys have tracked this, but since the league has, one game a week on TV for the last 4 weeks, all the home teams have lost. And so we got to come in with the mentality of, one, our crowd's going to lift us up, but we have to play to a higher level, but also a level of calmness. Like, there's no one move, there's no one play, there's no one thing you can do, puts you on SportsCenter. But puts you on SportsCenter is you win the game. You win the game. They don't put, like, end of first half 3-pointers on SportsCenter, right? They put game winners or winning a game. That's significant things. But we won't win the league. It'd be really difficult considering Wright State swept us. But it's not impossible. It's only impossible if we lose.
Preston, what has it been about your game this year that it's kind of just taken to another level?
I think first it's staying here under a coach.
Yeah.
This is my second year now under a coach that I, trust and, have seen the offense, have ran his offense. And I think that people don't really understand that, Obviously, I feel like I've grown a lot as a player, and I feel like half of that is mentally, just my mindset coming into games. I feel like that's changed a lot, but I feel like on the floor, shooting, all that, my numbers are a little bit better, but, I don't feel like I've changed.
A little better?
Yeah, a lot better, but yeah.
45, 89, 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
Pretty good. But, just like I said, like I feel more comfortable out there. And, I feel comfortable and excited to go out and compete every night because I feel like we have a chance to win, and I think we're going to win every game on the remaining on our schedule. But also kudos to the coaches for, putting us in good spots to succeed.
Rudy, what makes you believe?
Yeah, that's not bad right there from Preston Reedinger, a guy who was a walk-on early on in his career, and now he's not just leading the Phoenix, but you heard at 45, 45, 89, that being his 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. And what's measured as great is if you can pull off, and I mean incredibly great, is if you can pull off a 50, 40, 90 season. So 50% from 2, 40% from 3, and at least 90% from the free throw line. And Rudy is on track for that. So that's just incredible. Again, that game Thursday at the Crest Event Center on ESPN2. We'll have Kyle Malls on there. I'll be back in studio, and we'll have highlights and a post-game press conference at 10 o'clock as the Green Bay men try to make it 3 in a row, try to make it another sweep over a conference opponent. If they beat Purdue-Fort Wayne, that'll be the third team in conference that they've swept. So that's something to look forward to. We're going to take a break here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. When we come back, we'll chat with the GB women. They're 15-0 in conference, and it's largely because of the confidence that they have in themselves. That's after the break. Welcome on back. WFRV Plus Sports Night. It rolls on. Let's talk to the GB women. Kayla Karius and company, who just hopped on a plane to head. Yeah, actually, we're going to bring me back for a second. Then we'll pop the GB. Wow, there I am. It's always interesting when you got to control this little Stream Deck thing you have here with all the buttons and you press the wrong one. So, as you just saw, Kayla Karius as well as Maddie Skrupski, Jenna Geyer, we talked to them right after we talked to the GB men. They just hopped on a plane, get ready to play Cleveland State tomorrow on the road at 6. But a team that's 15-0 in conference, they've clinched another Horizon League title in the regular season as they will be the 1 seed in the Horizon League tournament for consecutive years. And we chatted with them earlier today. Listen in.
Kayla, in moments of adversity, what did you learn about your team the last 2 games?
Saw a lot of resilience from this group. I mean, we haven't had one game all year. We've been down 19-2 after the first quarter. I thought both games this last weekend were really difficult environments to play in. They were loud. Of course, when you're on the road, it's always different there too. But I was actually processing during the game how good this was for us, even though I was staring at a 17-point deficit. Like, one way or the other, we're going to learn something from this. You obviously hope that you have the right result at the end of it. But I saw these guys stick together. I saw their communication get better. I never saw them quit. Even looking at Saturday's game, there were a lot of moments where we didn't just feel like we were playing great, and we didn't string enough good things together to make runs happen. And certainly scoring was at a premium on Saturday, but just nobody could do it because they're just 2 of the best defensive teams. but their unity, I think, was challenged a little bit, and they responded the right way. So it was a lot of good lessons were learned.
Jennifer, you to go on that, I think it was 8-0 run to end the game. What were you feeling, and is that a testament to all the work that you put into this program to have a moment like that?
Yeah, I think I was just going to do what was ever needed for the team. I think the layup that we had in transition, I was just running the floor super hard, and I knew that Maddie would get downhill. So I think, like, either of us could have taken that shot. And I think that's just, like, we have been working hard. We have built that chemistry in practices, and we know that when we are faced with those end-of-game situations that we can succeed in those.
Kayla, to have at least a share of the Horizon League regular season title, what does that mean for this program? I mean, the continued excellence and the standard since you've been here just kind of carried that.
Yeah, it's a really hard time to stop and appreciate that right now. We talked about it as a team. Of course, you want to celebrate success. It's not like we're just overlooking it, but it's such a tough time to just stop and rest there and celebrate when you just feel like there's so much more work ahead. So we did talk about it. I'm really, really proud of this group. I'm really proud of our coaching staff. I'm really proud of our off season. I go back to last June when all of this began to put 8 newcomers together. Somebody who as talented as Maddie and put her on the same floor as somebody who's been here for as long as Jenna has and mix the two together, but watch their chemistry. It's just, we've come such a long way. So I don't think I've reflected as well enough as I should have, but I will at some point. I just think with this group, you have to keep them moving. There's so much more yet to achieve. I think we want to keep representing Green Bay the best way possible, but that would mean to finish the season strong, not to just be content with where we're at.
I know this program's been used to just like dominating games for so long in regular seasons, but what do you guys feel like kind of the games you've had this season, whether it's been dominant or the ones where you mentioned you've got to come back or it's been close, how have those helped you for when the regular or the postseason?
Yeah, we've seen a mix of everything this season. I go back to our non-conference and the really tough schedule that we had, and the Power 4 athletes that we've had to go against, and the road environments and neutral floor environments where there was hardly anybody there, and top 25 teams, and getting challenged that way. I think when we got into conference play, it's harder than it looks probably from the outside. From the outside, it probably just looks like it's regular old routine, but there's a lot of preparation that these players do. There's a lot of time in the gym that they're spending shooting that goes into it. And I think that you see different styles of play. You've seen teams like Detroit and IU Indy try to speed you up and pressure you and turn you over. And you see teams like Wright State and NKU shoot the 3 really well. And you've seen now we're going to face the zone team who's going to sit in the zone the whole time. And they're forcing us to play in all kinds of different ways, and we've had to respond. And it's not always pretty and it's not always perfect, but I think over the course of a 40-minute game, we've done enough right things to string them together. So I think your experiences throughout the entire season prepare you. I still go back to the loss at Miami of Ohio. I think that one taught us so much. It just happened to be right before Christmas and in the middle sort of conference play already, but we learned a lot, and I don't feel like we're the same team since we've played that game. I think we prepare a bit differently. I think their pressure and how they got us out of what we wanted to do, that rattled us. And at the end of the day, and we said it during timeouts this last weekend multiple times, do what we do. We are really strong and really confident in what we do, so don't let anybody take us away from that. And all those lessons, I think, help you build for March.
For Maddie and Jenna, just experiencing success this entire season, how do you make sure as leaders of this team to know that, like Kayla said, there's so much more ahead and you don't look too far ahead? Joe, let's go.
I think just coming into practice every day and continuing to compete and not taking any drill off or any rep off, just coming in knowing that every team that we're going to play wants to take us down and prepping for that.
I'd say similar to Maddie, and just like not being complacent to what we have achieved. It does mean something, but it's not the end. And I think trying not to stay focused on that, but more focused on the next game and the next game, and just getting better every single day is kind of what we've stuck to right now.
Jenna, you've been here for a while. What's been the most rewarding part of this season in your seat?
That's a good question. I feel like just seeing how I've developed as a player, and then that seems like it's on like full display right now. Like I think I've really developed as a defensive player, and that's something I'm pretty proud of just in my time here. So I think that is kind of where I've been like that's where I've seen the most from myself in my time here.
Maddie, for you being a newcomer on this team, how fulfilling is it to kind of have a vision when you're deciding to come to Green Bay and seeing this kind of all come to life?
I think it was cool because obviously I knew, what the standard is here and how many championships have been won here. And then to be a part of like the process that goes along with it, that was cool because you don't see that everywhere, and just understanding what it takes to actually go out and do it and not just talk about it. I think that's been pretty cool.
How excited are you guys to be done, with your road trips here soon and get back home?
Well, there's nothing like playing in the Crest Center, so road games are part of it, and we have, like I mentioned, have learned a lot from being on the road and have been stretched in, I think, a different way that our home environment could never have put us in, because we do have so much support and we do feel so comfortable and we practice on that floor all the time. So you have to go on the road to learn those lessons. I think there's a lot of chemistry and togetherness that can be strengthened by being out there and feeling like it's us against the world. And it really felt like that multiple times here this last weekend. So yeah, we go back on the road and it's all part of it, and we have to bring our own energy and our own life from our own bench. But to be back home this Saturday, next Saturday, with big events and causes we have coming up that we're going to support here at home, we're expecting big crowds, and we can't look at that quite yet, but when we do get to that point that we're facing the next home game, we'll be happy because we love playing here and we feel like we're at our best when we're here.
And they are at their best. They're undefeated when they play at home. Okay, one more break here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. When we come back, we'll quickly wrap up the show. That's next. Let's wrap things up here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. Cameron there with you. We heard from the GB women, the GB men. And with that, let me give my predictions for the next couple of days. I think the GB women beat Cleveland State tomorrow night. That'd be a huge win. They'd improve to 16-0. I think they'd officially, they wouldn't clinch a share of the Horizon League regular season title. They'd just clinch it outright. And this team, I mean, just the balance in the last two games, winning by only 3 points in each, just showing that they can fight through the adversity. As for the GB men against Purdue Fort Wayne, I think it's going to be a big crowd at the Crest Center, knowing it's a nationally televised game. You heard from Preston Reedinger. He's excited for that moment to show off the Green Bay brand, and I think the Green Bay way is shown over the next 2 days for the men and the women. Both Doug Gottlieb and Kayla Karius' teams get it done. That's my predictions, though. Okay, we're going to say goodbye here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.